Hey, everybody, it's Rich Tola, and thanks for tuning in. It's Thursday, January 13th. It's episode 14, but it's the 13th. We did that yesterday, right? Phobias, top 10 phobias. Trichodescophobia. Does anybody have that? Afraid of the number 13? Are you cowering in the bathroom or hiding with your blinds closed? My blinds are open because today, guys, it's going to be a glorious day here in Texas. Tola Talks, Texas. And it's going to be in the 70s. Yeah, we got the bipolar weather. I'm kind of enjoying that. I mean, I'm not sure if I'm enjoying that, but I enjoy it when it gets in the 70s, right? You guys know I'm not a fan of anything below 40 degrees. I've become a wimp over the years, 15 years in California. Well, I guess that's what happens. But number 13, step 13 in my book, How to Drink from the Fountain of Youth, is feel positive. You always have to feel positive. How are you feeling today? Got to check in with yourself. No, really. On a daily basis, what's the body feels like? You know, what is it? What's everything feel like? How's the body? How's the mind? How's the spirit? What are you manifesting? Talk about manifestation with a buddy of mine. And matter of fact, I was going to talk about euthanasia today, and he's like, dude, that's like a morbid concept. I was going to talk about the movie with Nicolas Cage and Elizabeth Shue, Leaving Las Vegas. You guys see that? It was in the 90s. She plays a prostitute, Sarah. Really, I mean, very, very morbid movie, sad movie, but good movie about a Hollywood screenwriter who loses everything. And he goes to Las Vegas to drink himself to death. So, I mean, I thought it was a good movie, but kind of sad, I guess. Alcoholism, bad thing, no doubt. Doesn't make you feel positive, that's for sure. No doubt. Guys know me, on December 2nd, 2007 was the last day I had a drink. So that's it. Put that to rest. But step 10 is what we're going to talk about today. Step 10 is keep your cool. You know, I was reading the news. I didn't want to get into the whole COVID. I mean, everything, you guys know, it's like, what a moneymaker that is, right? I mean, it's all they talk about on the news for 2 years now. Remember, it was March 13th of last year when everything kind of went shut down in Cali. But it's all about the COVID, the Omicron, and that this is going to peak, is it not going to peak? And anyway, can't talk about that today. Talk about more morbid things or crazy things. Do you see this today? New York City. Now, another one of these guys. You know, I did 3 stints on Wall Street, was a big commercial real estate broker back in the day in New York City. I mean, I do miss New York. New York was one of the greatest cities that anyone could visit, no doubt. I lived there 12 years, started on 14th Street, went up to 55th Street, then went to 81st Street on the east side. Was all over that city, was a Manhattan snob, really. Didn't like to leave the island. This was before Brooklyn and the Bronx and everything else became popular, and even Hoboken. I mean, I was in Manhattan. Loved it. Subways, cabs, no cell phones. Back in the day, I got there in the mid-'90s, about the same time that Leaving Las Vegas was made. And what a great city that was, from the restaurants to just walking outside. I mean, I'm in this little town now, little historic downtown Plano, and it's really, really pretty safe. Matter of fact, I just saw a police officer walk by my window, so I'm thinking, what's going on with that? Good to see a police officer around. We'll talk about that because, man, my uncle was the chief of police, so I totally have respect, the utmost respect for anyone in law enforcement to protect us. Because there's a lot of crazies out there, guys. There's a lot of crazies. Forget about saving yourself from COVID. We got to save ourselves from the whack jobs that are roaming the streets. New York City, a man was stabbed. Do you see this? He was stabbed after refusing to give money to a panhandler outside Times Square, CVS. That's right. Well, he said F off to this person when they asked him for money. Didn't need to do that. You don't need to poke a stick at a snake, right? You know, you don't want to do that. Now, who knows if this person was homeless, but you don't want to throw gasoline on the fire, as they say. But whatever this guy was thinking, he comes out and he was stabbed. He had liquid thrown in his face, so it appears, it wasn't very clear, but it seemed like the panhandler was a woman, but then a man and a woman attacked him. He was stabbed a couple times in the back. and some other man threw liquid in his face. Who knows? But it's bad, guys. I mean, hey, you can't be, first of all, you got to be positive, right? And speak positive for sure. And he didn't need to tell this person to go F off. Could have just smiled and said, no thank you, or not even, just smiled, nod. But that was, what happens to that panhandler? What happens to those people that caused that did the damage? Who knows what's going on in New York with all the new mayor, district attorney, and all that, cutting back on crime. But I don't know, not a good story. When I lived in New York, when I first moved to New York, I lived on 14th Street between 7th and 8th Avenues, and no doubt, you read that in my memoir. I mean, when I come out of that the E subway was right there. I had to look every which direction. It was definitely a little gritty back in the early 90s. So it's way different now. That's called the Meatpacking District. It's beautiful now, but back then, no. I mean, you always have to look out for yourself. I carry a whistle. That's something you always want to be protecting yourself. So what's the second story? How about this Chicago mom? Now, this is a sad story. Chicago mom accused of killing her son, who was 6 years old, with a freezing shower. Then she dumps his body in an abandoned alley in Gary, Indiana. Go figure, right? A mother and two other family members forced this little boy to punish him into a freezing shower on December 30th until he became violently ill and passed out. What a sad story. And he took his naked body, put it in a trash bag, and threw him away. We're going to talk about capital punishment in a moment, but so there you go. You got first story, a couple of wackos attacking a guy because they wouldn't give him money. Then you got a Chicago mom, bad person, kills her son with her family members. Okay, and then what about this? It was a 16-year-old girl shot to death in Houston while she was walking her dog. Well, good news with the dog is the dog fled the scene and ran back to the house, started scratching on the door, and the mom, I guess, yeah, it's another sad story, tried CPR on the girl, said couldn't bring her back. Now they're trying to find an ex-boyfriend. The girl was arguing with the ex-boyfriend at some point. Now I think the ex-boyfriend's the guy who did it, but he's not found. So, if you kill somebody, what happens when you kill somebody? If it turns out that this ex-boyfriend does it, right? What about the road rage? You guys hear about the road rage in Florida? It left a pregnant woman, 21-year-old, and her boyfriend injured. That's right, when this aggressive driver opened fire on them. This guy's still at large. My buddy, give a shout out to my buddy in Florida who carries numerous guns, protects himself. I mean, hey, there's a lot of whack jobs out there. Got road rage incidents. Another one. What about the Texas teen? This was in the summer. I read about this. Texas teen was shot and killed when he sat in the passenger seat of his father's pickup truck after they left the Astros game, right? This guy got out on bail, $350,000 bail. This guy gets out. So let's talk a little bit about capital punishment. You got all these crazy stories, right? Well, let me tell you one more story. This is my uncle, my godfather. My uncle was killed by an aluminum baseball bat. A group of gangbangers killed him back in the day. And I know what it's like to have a family member killed. That's we talked about suicide in a previous episode. Suicide sucks. Well, getting killed sucks, or any type of family member. What about this other? This is another one. California woman was treated for life-threatening head injuries that were self-inflicted, but she had 3 children under the age of 8 that were found killed in the apartment. So did she do it? Who knows? It says they haven't released the relationship between the woman and the children. It said it's not clear. Well, she's dying of a head injury, self-inflicted. What is capital punishment, guys? There's a bunch of stories, a lot of whack jobs out there. A lot of bad news. I mean, that's a problem with society, right? There's a lot of evil in the universe. There's good and there's evil. I believe that. Capital punishment refers to the process of sentencing convicted offenders to death for the most serious crimes. Most serious crimes. You kill somebody, that's a serious crime. You killed my uncle, that's a serious crime. I believe in capital punishment. I do. I believe that, why do we want to take care of these people for the rest of their life, and where they committed serious crimes, especially killing somebody, taking another person's life, that person that only gets one life, one temple, one mind, body, and spirit, and you take it away. You take it away, and you should be able to, we got to take care of you, feed you, and put you in a nice, comfortable, warm setting. Yeah, okay, maybe it's not great to be in jail, but in 2021, by the way, in the U.S., there were 11 inmates that were executed via capital punishment, 2021. You know what death row is? Death row is the incarceration. Well, anyone who's incarcerated, sent to, awaiting execution. So you're incarcerated, sentenced to death, awaiting execution. That's death row. A lot of guys on death row, I think. Well, what countries? There's a lot of countries that do have capital punishment. China executes the most people per year. I'm going back to 2008. I was looking for some numbers. It's tough to get really current numbers on this stuff. I don't know if you guys have the current numbers. Shoot me an email, t3@richtola.com. But China, it said in 2008 they did over 1,700 people. Kudos for China. Iran had 346, USA had 111, and Saudi Arabia at 102, just to have those with over 100. So if you're for capital punishment, most likely for these three reasons: moral, utilitarian, and practical. The moral reason, well, it's the eye for an eye theory. It's morally right to take someone's life who took a life for the most serious crimes. Number two, it's the utilitarian, right? It means it's a deterrent. Would you deter people? Like if you knew that if you killed someone, well, if you were a sane person, right? If you were a sane person and you knew that by taking another person's life, well thought out, premeditated murder, that you're going to die, well, that's a deterrent. I mean, if you're an insane person, well, you don't know the difference, right? Sociopath. What about practical? Well, that means it's consistent with justice. Justice is served. And that's why you love those Clint Eastwood movies. Remember Unforgiven? Well, whatever your thoughts are, I mean, everyone has their thoughts. It's not like you're right or wrong. Okay, great. Someone might say, hey, I'm a whack job. I met a woman one time. I brought this up years ago in Chicago, and she kind of whacked out at me and said, oh, my God, you're a bad person, whatever. I said, hey, you think what you think. You like the color blue. I like the color red. Why do we have to all think the same way? And like with the vaccine, why do we all have to think the same way? I mean, you think the way you think. I think the way I think. You know, I believe in working out every single day. You might think, well, that's too much. It's too much. You work out too much. I worked out this morning. Doesn't matter what I feel like. I work out. Okay. You might say, well, that's a lot of workout. By the way, guys, just picked up another Tola yoga class over at the Plano Athletic Club. Wednesdays at 5:30 p.m. Give a shout out to my peeps over there. I guess we had a good class on Saturday, so we added another class. So Tola yoga twice a week, Saturday at 12:30 and Wednesdays at 5:30. So if you're a nighttime person, I'm really not, but I know they're real busy at that hour, and I want to be able to contribute to the cause of getting people in great physical condition with a Tola yoga class. Come take it. It's a fitness class. And I tell you a little story about the guys I met. And there's two guys, they're like, oh, you teach yoga? Yeah, I said, my man, come take the class. Then he sees me in the locker room. By the way, I want to give a shout out to another friend of mine who calls me up and he says, you know, I know you're very cerebral and I know your shows are meant to, people who are, thinkers, and you're an educated man. You've taken whatever master's degrees. He says, but you got to be over the top. He goes, nobody reads. Everybody's illiterate. That's what this guy says. He goes, the world's illiterate. He goes, nobody reads. They want to see stuff that's over the top. He sends me this guy. He's got 41 million followers who's doing all sorts of eating liver and all sorts of weird stuff. I said, yeah, or whatever. I don't know. I said, extravagant. I said, he's like, he said, you should put on a Speedo and walk around and start doing push-ups on the street with your body. You're the Fountain of Youth king. And I said, yeah, I got you. There's all that sorts of stuff out there, but you have to do what comes naturally, right? You got to do what's So I don't know. Will I be wearing a Speedo, cruising around town over here, trying to get people? I don't know. I mean, that's not my style. But anyway, let's just jump right into that. So much for capital punishment, so much for the news. Guys, live your life. Be positive, but hey, and don't do harm to anyone. This is crazy. It's a crazy world out there. It's an evil world, but you got to be able to protect yourself. You got to be able to stand behind your convictions, no matter what they are. And if you just don't believe with someone, doesn't mean that person, hey, if you don't believe in capital punishment, that's great. I got no problems with that. It's like whatever you believe. Same thing with working out. Same thing with eating food. It's whatever you believe. As long as you're a person that wants to empower themselves, that's great. I mean, I'm all for it. So let's move on to some more positive things. What did I do today, guys? It was the 13th. So in honor of 13, which is 10 plus 3, right? 10 plus 3. That's what I did today. I said, I'm going to do 10 exercises, 3 sets each of 10. 10, 3, 10. That's where I'm going to honor 13 because I don't have triskaidekaphobia. Nope, not afraid of that. That's what I did. So what did I do? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? First thing I did, stretching abs. Second thing I did, dips, pull-ups, superset. So again, that's excluded. But if you want to keep with the 3s, that's 2, and then I'm going back later, which I am, going back later to do abs and the Stairmaster. I haven't done any of that today. Stretching abs always, little yoga stretches, abs, and the Stairmaster, which is going to be later, doing 15 minutes on those stairs, guys, and another 15 minutes stretching abs. So I'll get another 2% in. Today I did 3%, 45 minutes. That's 5% of fitness today, okay? Because again, the body's back 100%. I think my head's back around 95%. So I'm not totally there. But this is what I did today. 10 different exercises, right? What did I do? I started with shoulders, dumbbells, flies. Then I went to chest, machine. Then I did back. I did the row machine today, okay? Then I did triceps, which I did on the flat bench, sort of like tricep dips on the flat bench. Then I did biceps, preacher curl bis. That's 5, right, guys? Then I went back, same thing. I did shoulders on the machine, okay? Then I did chest. I did the same. That's the only thing that I repeated was the same chest exercise. Then I did back pull-downs, pull-down machine, which you talked about the other day. Okay. Then I did dips, same thing. I went back to the same. It's the only thing I repeated. And then curls, I did dumbbell curls. I used the same weight, 30 pounds, 3 sets. Boom. That was it. I was out of there. Adios. Took me 45 minutes, guys, because that's a little longer workout. But got to do it. Got to do it no matter what. All right. What did you do today? You didn't work out? No worries. Walk the mile. Do whatever. Get it in. I'm going back later. Here we go. Cryptos. Well, nothing goes straight up, guys. They're up and down, but they did have a little bit of a run yesterday. I see Tesla's holding the 1100 mark. That's good. The cryptos, I give a shout out to my father called. He's like, what are you going to do? Whenever he sees Doge run up to like 18 cents, he gets all excited. I said, well, I'm holding. I mean, what do you mean, what am I going to do? I'm a holder player. Hodler player. Anyway, so much for the crypts, but just remember, the good news is Bitcoin's above 44,000. I do predict that to go back up to 50,000 and take everything with it. So whatever you're doing today, stay strong. Take a look at these. I mean, if you're doing the investments, things are going to change, guys. Nothing stays the same. With inflation up 7% this year, interest rates are going to move up. But the good news is people want to make money with their money, right? Investments are always going to be here at the end of time. Does the stock market keep going up to 40,000? Does it drop down to 30,000? Who knows? Nothing goes straight up. I learned that back in my Goldman Sachs days. It's my first Wall Street job out of University of Pennsylvania Wharton School. Worked at Goldman downtown Philly. Give a shout out to my old school peeps there, Wado, Scotty. Oh, yeah, I still have friends from those days, guys. So I don't know if they're listening to the show. Probably not, but no worries. I'm still thinking of them. Yeah, those guys taught me what it was like. I'll never forget. Scott, I'll never forget the day Scott was sick as a dog. He told me, he goes, you got to play hurt. He's throwing up in the bathroom, coming out, working, going in, throwing up, coming back. Nowadays, oh my God, people get sick. It's COVID. You're going to, you got to quarantine. There was no quarantining back then. You play hurt. How to play hurt. It's the way it goes. Well, that's the world I come from. I'm old, though. Going to be 59, right, guys? So I have that mindset. Play hurt. There's no such thing. You can't cower in the corner. You can't be afraid, guys. You can't. You got to live your life. Anyway, that's it for today. So much for that. We could go on and on about the Crips, but we're good. Having a good one. I'm looking forward to it. I'm heading out. It's going to be 70 today. I'm going to be outside. So whatever you do, hey, guys, you're not going to see me tomorrow. You're going to see me on Monday. Monday's a holiday, but I'll be back on Monday. Take a breather tomorrow. Have a nice long weekend. Hey, guys, whatever you do, get your workout in. Peace.